see if it connects. I'm waiting for it to connect. Oh yeah, podcast live. Let's go. We are good to go. So, hello. Okay, so I don't know how we're gonna do an intro now because everything's gonna be basically just going live from now forward for our podcast. So we don't. So editing is gonna be basically not existent. Only time we're gonna edit is realistically when we are doing when we're doing shorter videos because the long videos just keep getting corrupt. And I'm honestly just done. Two great videos down the drain, and I was just like, yeah. So for the podcast, our first one live. I think we're gonna be planning when we do videos, individual videos, it's gonna be 30 minutes, 20 minutes tops, and then after that, if we're gonna have a long video, we're just gonna hit it live and call it a day. And because basically it's gonna be the same things as our podcast, but just actual things. Like today's topic of the day will be Sonic versus Flash. Archie Sonic versus Flash. Now, I'm over on Team Flash. Ruben, your Team Archie Sonic, right? And then Josh. Oh, well, it's honestly, I'm honestly gonna start being realistic with this type of stuff too. Uh, Josh, if you would like to say anything, because I don't know if you know, he's not. It's the problem is we in DC Comics. I don't know. This is where I did do some research before I even put my hand in his. As fast as it can, Archie Sonic doesn't reach the speed of light or past the speed of light. The Flash can. So a lot of problems that everyone has is that yeah, to mm, right, but a common misconception that it is that Wally is this type of being who is just slow or very slower or everyone's slower, and he speaks in the DC slower than it is. Where limitations are more on Marvel's side. Why we don't see a speedster like Quicksilver faster than Wally or Barry or any Flash or any speedster in DC. The biggest concept of that is the fact that we know the Flash can can cause a contingency plan. He can destroy the planet and he can destroy the whole universe. It's very much known. But the problem has been, oh, Archie Sonic has these forms. The forms can give him to be match it, but we as we as readers of the Flash has never seen it gone to how fast they need to be. A big example is the when they need to have the 1 second war. If those who don't know, the 1 second war is an alien race who as is fast. And I mean, not even Superman. Superman was trying to catch their speed, and he was still in slow motion just to try to communicate them with and they couldn't. He couldn't even match it. And we're talking about Superman. Well, we're not saying that Superman can be as fast as the Flash, because we obviously know that's not true. He only allowed to be so that people don't be looking at Superman as weaker, slower, and other stuff. But realistically, if you don't realize the Flash, I don't Sonic wouldn't even be able to match that type of thing, frequency. And this, mind you, this is one, and this and this war was very dangerous. Would you like to add to it? Because I'm just saying, it's been I've seen so many creators, so many people say, "Oh, I think one of the few creators I started watching 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I think it was three, Devontae the one. He had this thing where he had Archie Sonic, Archie uh, Shadow, and Wally, and he said, "Oh, Wally, you know that even Archie Sonic is saying he's faster than you." I'm like, "No, Wally's the fastest speedster." And the closest comparison to Sonic would be Jay Garrick pre pre gaining this the Speed Force, and common problem that that's a common thing that I've seen mm, as a misconception. That is also true. True with some of these, but at least 99% of the time he had gotten it very close to accurate or near accurate. But I personally think that the thing is that with is that this is not a thing I haven't not seen, and it's kind of, again, it's somewhat thing of a things like I remember when we before we had when we weren't really doing we were just talking around. We were talking about Star Wars and about the acolyte, how everyone freaked out about how that the Force made the twins. And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. You fuck around with the Force, you find out, and they destroy their witch growth. Something, and we know this is not the only time they do it, because again, Anakin's a big example, and then, as you know, Plagueis was at the end of that show, so it showed that Plagueis saw what they were doing, did to get immortality, and this goes with the thing about being immortal and stuff like that, always living forever. So, and it's like the concept of it is like if it's one, it can't be true because of things. A lot of it's like the same thing. It's like the same thing. Oh, Aquaman is weak. Aquaman is not weak, but everyone says, oh, he talks to fish. It's not the only thing he does. Anyone want to say anything? Hello? And as much as anything, just remember Josh is going to be typing. He always types. He don't really much talk. He's the he. It's just because of his situation. Oh yeah. Honestly, I thought we were gonna. Because I remember we had this conversation before. I thought we were gonna have this full on thing and everything. What changed? What actually changed your mind on that? I must know because we had a full conversation about it before. I know because I know we were watching Death Battle about that. I know a lot of. I thought it was much. I thought I honestly thought since they chose Wally that it was no match, and I felt like having Wally as the choice the versus versus Sonic was just overkill, and I thought it should have been much further, not as close as it was. Again, and I still feel like that's the case because it's the same thing. It's the same thing I have with a lot of things. Like when people say Superman versus Goku, I always believe that Goku's because of how things are will always surpass a Kryptonian, even if they have a yellow sun. It's the same thing. Why, like when people were like surprised that Spider-Man 2099 couldn't beat Batman Beyond. Spider-Man 2099 doesn't have spider sense. Batman Beyond is Terry's Terry. Terry is so. The thing is with Terry is if we look at Terry at his peak, Terry McGinnis is Terry McGinnis is as strong as Terry McGinnis as Batman isn't on par as Nightwing Batman, but he's on par as Nightwing Nightwing. Does that make any sense? You think it doesn't make sense, or you don't agree? Yeah, but but if you oh yeah, the suit adds to it. The suit adds to it 100%. But also, we cannot pretend like he doesn't train at all either. Though he doesn't rely on having pure muscle all the time, he is what you would say at best Batman Beyond for that reason. Like as much as it was like, oh, if he had the strength of it, yeah, but he still had to train acrobats. He still had to train all that. So the suit added to his strength, but it didn't add to his agility. He didn't add to his flight training. He had to still learn all these type of things. Now, ideally, I think if you compare him to any of the Robins, he's he's the strongest Robin is Red. The second strongest is Nightwing, and then you got Damien and then Tim. And no, no, yeah. You must also remember, Lazarus Strength is still part of Jason's repertoire. Lazarus Strength, if those don't know, is when you get revived. There's a certain strength added to your body when you get revived from the Lazarus Pit. That's because he's more active. But but you also have to remember. But you also have to remember if you when we're talking, I said strength. I didn't say combat price. Combat price, I give it to Nightwing number one. Damien and Jason are number two and three, interchangeable, and Tim's last. But you have to remember one thing about each Robin. They, of course, of course, you you have to remember each Robin has a unique weapon and skill. Nightwing, he has his he has his Edo sticks. No, I'm talking about his weapons, his sticks, his Edo sticks, whatever you call them. Then then Jason's obviously guns. He can use any weapon. He can use swords, anything, but he prefers guns. Then you have Tim as with the bow staff, and then Damien's the sword. So you have to remember these are certain things, and each weapon has a different add With it, with Nightwing, he's more free flowing to combat. He can change direction, he can change momentum, and that's where his acrobats really shine during combat. It's not with Jason. He's full hard. He'll go like pause. No, did he? He goes head first. He'll punch. He'll try to break to freaking knee you. He'll try to get everything. And then if he has opening shoot, he's head forward. Tim is of the more of the detective way of silent stealth, but he also cunning. while Damien is just a freaking warrior. Each one of these are different styles, and obviously the best style that will be Nightwing, because his ability to change his momentum and change his ability to move around has also, and there's Luther, he's not going to join us today, has also increased his ability to be able to do so much. And I think that's a people say, when I say strength, strength just means pure strength. Not I'm not talking about his fighting prowess. His fighting prowess, I give it to Nightwing. 9 times, 10 times out of 10, I think Nightwing's gonna beat every Robin in a battle royale of no killing. Do you disagree? Do you guys, Josh? I think, because like I said, I think one of the biggest misconceptions about it's one of the biggest misconceptions. Everybody thinks is one of the biggest misconceptions about DC. DC is just DC realistically compared to Marvel is not really the same in power levels. We're talking about people who can fuck up the time streak, destroy universes, and all they do is fight people who with toys, ice guns, mustard. Yeah, freaking Condiment King. I'm talking about you. And yet, everyone just be like, oh yeah, somebody do this. Like again, big example. Again, I know people are not gonna agree with me, but if no suit, no suit, who's winning in a fist fight? Bruce Wayne or T'Challa? No suit, no suits. Black Panther is T'Challa. Josh, I'm gonna give it to Bruce. Bruce, he knows enough, but it's one of the priors of his death battle against Batman was his suit being at vibranium, so it's very hard to penetrate. And in doing so, does already make a disadvantage. To be able to defeat that, you would need to know the frequency, which Batman would it would not just forget time over time would have needed to find out, but he would have because his suit can scan the material. It can then try to figure the frequency, have the batarang, then do it through that means. But obviously, they're not going to do that in the death battle, and they did. Yes, right, right. Yeah, no, 100%. He does. He does. That's why. Yes, it's close. Honestly, I'm honestly gonna. I'm gonna also agree with Josh. It's gonna be Bruce with no suits considered. For again, I think it's very close, but I lean it towards more Bruce, as not because I will probably say more on how the Trinity has is and how it has evolved. Because at first, if we're talking about currently right now, we have to remember there is a reason he does not kill. He does not believe in killing. He had one of his closest friends he trained with he's an assassin. Came to Gotham thinking it's his time to show why he's better than Batman, He kills. He's one of the most deadliest people. If he wants you to know he's there, he will do it, and he will fuck with all technology, so you don't know he was even there. And he still couldn't kick Batman's ass. So I might be, and excuse my French, but I'm going to be real with you. This is why one of the reasons why I think this is why I think one of the reasons is, again, I'm not saying that T'Challa is weaker by any means, by far not. But if we're going, and another misconception, we're not talking about MCU T'Challa. We're talking about comic book T'Challa, because there's a difference. Because another thing is like, oh, he has a lot of people say, oh, he'll have super strength and super agility. Like, no, that's just MCU T'Challa because of how they say he did things. In basically, if they didn't introduce the fruit, no one, it would have been like, okay, it was the training of the Black Panther, which has always been okay for Marvel fans. The dude's a king. The king is also the Black Panther. Of course, you're gonna want that training. Look at all, so it makes sense for why you would want it. So I don't care about the fruit, the fruit. It don't really affect in this thing. If we say MCU as like it's not really, it's yeah he'll have extra strength, so we know that, but I still don't think that extra strength would push him to be able to defeat Batman. As again, Batman has fought Bane, and we're not saying he has the best winning record against Bane, and Bane has broke his back not once, not twice, but three times. But still, that motherfucker, Bane ain't no three. Bane is a lot with Venom. It's a lot stronger than T'Challa. God Lord, but yes, but yeah. Should we? Okay, so we had this discussed Sonic, Batman versus Black Panther with no suits. Uh, Captain. Okay, before anything, we all agree Captain America should have never versus Batman. I'm just saying that was like okay, super soldier versus the most dangerous non-assassin. And a lot of times, and then we had what, Venom versus Bane. Venom beat Bane, right? Venom versus Bane. Who won that one? Was it Venom? It was, yeah. Obviously, another matchup that shouldn't have happened at all. Agree? Disagree? And this is also pre Eddie Brock becoming the god too. That's also a mindful part. Yeah, I don't agree with all the matchups, but it was a matchup. Okay, I'm gonna read. Okay, so I'm gonna get some more battles for us to discuss right now. Because death battle would be okay. We had the last one. Um, we're gonna go there. Omni-Man versus Bardock. Okay, you're going there. This was one of the most stupidest battles yet again because compared to we're and this is the thing. Are we gonna? We don't. If there, this is the problem with that settle. They say DBZ Bardock. At this point, we doing DBC Bardock, not Super Bardock. It's already washed. It's already washed. Oh, they added heroes too. That is also a fact. So the minute you added heroes, you already just said Omni Man was supposed to get his ass kicked. Uh, for Josh, I know you haven't read Invincible or watched Invincible. Long story short, Omni Man is a that that's is a it's a different comic book version of Superman with being a Saiyan. So their race goes conquers other planets and adds them to their uh yeah empire. Yeah, and yet right. They don't have a weakness, but they're not as compared to the Earth heroes. They are strong, completely stronger than the Earth heroes. So that's why I say Superman comparison there. But realistically, it takes about 3 to 4 Voltrumites to destroy a planet through the core. Well, it'll take one Saiyan, one Superman Kryptonian. Shall continue going down of comparisons. So that was one of those things. That one was one of the most stupidest things because of the fact that it is. Oh my god! Like you have to. A lot of things that tends to be a problem with Death Battle has been their power scaling. If you're going to, and that's a thing that honestly I had a problem with because when you power scaling a Saiyan to other comic book characters, you have to be mindful of their feats and things. Oh, it takes 3 things, but oh, he only thing. I think you have to be mindful. We're talking about if you did Super Bardock easily, Omni Man beating you. But if you're doing Dragon Ball Z slash Heroes Bardock, you can't. There's too much there to contradict because nothing from Z slash Heroes is canon. So when you add into that, you're basically just all you're just doing right there is just adding more fuel to that fire because Z2 Heroes is one continuation of Bardock, unless it was Super Bardock. The Super Bardock is his own different character. His story that started with him and his group and then dying and then all that happening and he becoming Super Saiyan, then he learned Super Saiyan 3 and he's in Heroes. That's all one same Bardock. And a lot of problems has been with they do not initiate. So at that and once he became in Heroes, he became a God of Destruction level danger. And this is mind you just because it's just how fucking crazy they made uh Hero Saiyans be at times. Because we don't even, Heroes Trunks, Heroes Pan, way stronger than GT this or main timeline Dragon Ball, current timeline Dragon Ball. We had oh Joker versus Gonoro. Gonoro. Who won that fight? Joker versus Gonoro. Gorno. Joker versus okay. Joker. Okay, forget that one. Okay, let's go. Okay. Did you see the Among Us versus Fall Guys? Again, that was a fun one. That was a fun one. That was a fun one. It was basically, but it's like you can't really compare the two different things. And then when you told me, when you say, "Oh, they're indestructible," so how are you supposed to have you? How are you supposed to get people from the imposters from Among Us beat any Fall Guy? Let's see. We mm-hmm. Agree. Okay, what? Yeah, it can go on forever, and there's so many things that just does not make sense. I'm just trying to find more death battles. Not death battle revisit. Okay. Oh, okay. Batgirl versus Spider Gwen. Let's talk about that one. I still disagree with that one. I still disagree with that one. I still disagree with that one because of the fact. No, 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 no. See, they did it with the symbiote suit. So Spider Gwen at that point doesn't have spider sense. So that's where they messed up. Because when she had the symbiote suit, she had the symbiote suit was mimicking her powers, but didn't give her all her powers. So when a Spider Man doesn't have spider sense, they are not going to see anyone. It's the same thing why Batman Beyond Terry was able to beat freaking Spider Man 2099, Miguel. Josh, anything you want to say? Because because as we know, spider sense is the thing that allows them to sense things they can't see. So Batman versus Spider Man, obviously Spider Man's gonna win. But here's the problem: they used the symbiote. When she had the symbiote, she didn't have her powers, so she had no spider sense. Yes, strength and speed, but as we know, with Batman and anybody in the Bat family, once they start, if they really need to combat against strength and speed, example Bane, Flash, and many different characters, they can do that. But because they took away their stealth, because adding her spider sense is the reason why this fight is very tainted, in my opinion. Because you cannot give her one to the other. She wasn't as strong as Spider Man when she had her power, but with the Venom symbiote, she was able to mimic her powers and everything. But she didn't have spider sense, and I and that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't realize. When with the symbiote with Venom doesn't have spider sense. He never did. So a lot of problem. So he so he gained the ability of spider sense because of Peter, right? Right, Ruben. Venom didn't gain spider sense until he bonded with Peter. So here's the thing. So not all symbiotes have spider sense. Only Venom does. That's why Flash and Eddie Brock were able to use spider sense. But Gwen's symbiote didn't latch onto her while she had spider sense. So she had no spider sense. And they added spider sense. That's why I think that fight is tainted. Now, if she was able to overcome the darkness and predict it, I would have given it to her. But because we don't know if that would have happened because of how they did stuff, it's one of my biggest what ifs. Uh, do you disagree? Agree? Anything? Look, I honestly just think that one of the reasons why it is like this is because of that one mishap. Not everyone has to agree with me. You get my point? That's fine. Okay, let's see. What else? What else? Okay, it's time for the final question. Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. Everybody knows. Everyone knows that Winter Soldier should have. That was an easy win. Huh? You don't remember that? And it was one of those situations where you called me. Okay, so Josh, you know the Winter Soldier, right? Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier. Well, we're talking about comic books. We're not talking about movies. Uh, and you know Red Hood. Who's winning that fight? We know the answer because me and Ruben both agreed on why and the reason. It's just stupid, and they use something that I hate that they use nonstop. Sometimes use it once, they use it all the time. Apparently now. Well, Winter Soldier wins. He did win. Winter Soldier won. But what was the thing that the reason why I said this was not even a close matchup has was the fact of experience. Remember when I told you that, Ruben? Winter Soldier has decades upon decades of experience, not compared to Red Hood. Jason doesn't have experience to that. The only argument that a lot of even I would have said, oh, but Houston versus Kryptonians, speedsters, aliens. So has Bucky. It comes down to speed, agility, strength, and experience. Strength. Obviously goes to the Winter Soldier, no question. And with a metal arm, it, but how Death Battle tried to match that strength was with the saying of, oh, let him use Venom. He used Venom one time against Supergirl. Is that even right? Should he have used that during battle, Ruben, against the Winter Soldier? Yes. It wasn't necessary. Even if the strength, his strength is, like I said, he has Lazarus strength, which they didn't add as part of it. But a lot of things, a lot of people tend to forget. That's one of the things they tend to forget about it. Another thing is he does have, to a certain degree, certain mystical abilities, but we're not gonna get into that one because that doesn't even affect the fight. Because Winter Soldier's heart and he's not really a demon, so again, don't really need to add to that. We can say that, okay, with speed and agility, you can give that to Jason, but it's a slight edge. But it's really more compatible. And then it's weapons and everything else. It's gonna go 50-50. Jason can build a lot of shit. He can make a lot of weapons. He can do what he needs to do. We know how smart he is. But you have to. But compared to the Winter Soldier, who freaking can fuck up a lot of people, and we're talking to it. Will Winter Soldier be able to beat Batman? No. Batman. Wait. Now you got me. Now I'm thinking. Does Winter Soldier beat Batman? Does the Winter Soldier beat Batman? It's just a metal arm. I don't know. I think he got to upgrade to a different new type of metal arm later in the comics. And we're not talking about. Obviously, we're not talking about MCU. We're just talking about as a thing. I don't. I don't think metal arm has a big factor to it because it's a metal arm, and we know that he's not using guns, so he's not worried. The metal arm can take a batarang and other stuff. You get my point? So it goes down to that question. But now my question is, does he? Because if Batman can beat Captain America, then he should. Then he should. But then shouldn't that mean that Jason should easily beat? Uh, and that's my question. Thing is that, as I said, this okay. Now this one doesn't make no sense. I said experience. Yeah, but here's my thing, and this is something that's honestly true. Jason Todd is a contingency plan to kill Bruce if he turns evil. So if if Jason can kill Bruce, shouldn't that mean he can defeat? Should he be able to kill the Winter Soldier? So then that goes to the thing. Now this gets me confused. This gets me confused. This really does get me confused. Yes. Okay. He respected him until he shot at Nick, and then he fucked him up. Oh no, 'cause he wasn't trying to kill him. He wasn't trying to kill him. He wasn't trying to kill him. Yeah, he did do that, but he. We all can agree. We all can agree. You fuck with Dick Grayson, everyone's gonna kill you. He's lucky that this ain't gonna kill him. And Jason could find him. He would have been dead, dead. Josh, do you disagree, or do you agree? You you fuck with Nick. You fuck with the whole Bat family. All right. We okay. We're gonna pivot from that battle for a minute because honestly, some of these battles obviously for comedic effect, like we said, Among Us versus Fall Guys, and then we had we're not gonna. Then we had Saitama versus Popeyes. Then you had and then we had so we're gonna get away from that for a good minute. Now we're gonna go to something that we know all three of us knows, and we were talking about it before. Star Wars. Josh, you're rubbing your hands. You're rubbing your hands. We're about to be talking about some fun Star Wars topics. And just had saved for us two or three of them. I'm waiting a little bit on that just because I want to binge that. It looks so good. Oh my god, I'm about to kick you. How do you still? I finished Clone Wars. You still on you think he's on season 6 of the Clone Wars? It's like what? 7 seasons, 8 seasons? Josh is on season 6 of the Clone Wars. There's 8 seasons of the Clone Wars. 7. Yeah, season 7 is not that. Okay, he's almost there, but season 7 doesn't. Season 7 just bridges the gap between the Clone Wars and Episode 3. So it's fine. It introduces the Bad Batch, which is awesome. But no, they gave a good ending to Ahsoka's story. Uh, but now it's time to okay. Now we're gonna discuss a thing about Star Wars, and we're gonna discuss about the Clone Wars too. And no, we're not gonna do the budget thing again, Josh, because the only reason why we're not doing the budget thing again is the last time we did the budget thing, that shit took forever. And I don't think we have 7 hours of free time with Ruben. We would have to start at like 8 a.m. and expect to be done by 8 p.m. And Ruben would be killing us. Why did you start this now? We need at least what 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours, Josh? 72? Yeah. Okay. But we're not gonna talk about things. We're gonna discuss the important thing about Star Wars right now. Is is the Jedi Order stupid? The Jedi Order during the height of the Clone Wars, did 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 the Jedi Order, and I mean the High Council, fail fail the fail other Jedi and the Republic? Yes, sir. That is my question. Josh said mostly. What's your opinion? You said you said that the High Jedi Council is flawed. Josh said mostly. I'm gonna say yes. They completely failed the Republic and the Jedi Council. So, Josh, if you have something you want to type, go for it. And then I'm just gonna bring up the two books I just read that had that was from Legend continuity. So this is obviously we know I like Legends over canon. I like some stuff in canon, but not everything. Give me 1 second, guys.